Hello, student. Good morning. How are you doing today? I hope that all of you are doing fine. Alright? Okay, so today we are going to learn grammar. Yes, it is Unit 7 Modern Nature types of infinitive and gerund, which is this is falls under grammar. Alright, so basically, I'm going to repeat that I'm teaching Form 4 students. Okay, so to refer the notes, you may refer to my slides, and for the activity, you may refer to your textbooks. Alright, if you don't have your textbook with you, you may take a look at the screen, but if you have textbook with you, you may take a look at page 87. Alright, okay, so let us begin. Grammar, types of infinitive and gerund. So, I wonder, okay, why I wonder? That is back to my during schools, right? When I'm being a student, I always asking, why we need to learn grammar? Why is grammar is important? Okay, but after that, I knew that grammar is important because once you know how to use the grammar correctly, it's easy for you to use in writing as well as speaking. Okay, so before that, I'm sorry if you hear any sounds. Okay, alright, so for the topic today, we are going to discuss types of infinitive and gerund. But first, let us take a look at what is infinitive. Infinitive is form of a verb, which is from the basic form. Okay, example, it is the verb of walk, run, swim. Okay, so that is the verb. So, what is infinitive? What does it shows infinitive? Okay, how we want to look at it shows infinitive is it is a form from the with or without the participle to. Okay, so take a look at picture here. Alright, infinitive equal to the word to plus the simple form of a verb, as I have mentioned just now, which is the verb. As example, I have mentioned is walk, to run, to swim. Okay, there is no such thing to swimming. I like to swimming. That is wrong. Why? Because that is gerund. You want to know why is it that sentence is gerund? Later, I will show you in gerund section. Okay, remember, in sentences you cannot mix the infinitive and gerund. Alright, so next, why is it in the first slide I have mentioned that types of infinitive? Okay, so how many types of infinitive that they have? So they have types of infinitive two, which is bare infinitive and to infinitive. So what is the difference of bare infinitive and to infinitive? Okay, this is just to give the uh, small notes to you, which is bare infinitive is the one without participle to, and to infinitive is we are using the word of to as well. Okay, for further explanation, let us take a look at the next slide. Alright, bare infinitive. Infinitive without to or the base form of a verb. Okay, we just use the base form of verb without the word of to. It also used as the main verb after the auxiliary verb, which is do or modal verb, such as should, can, could, will, would, shall, may, might. Right? So that is the modal verbs. So take a look at the example below. I should do my English homework. Right? That you are not going to say I should to do my English homework. See? Can you see that the word is slightly different? It sounds something wrong at the sentence. Okay, so it's better for you to use I should do my English homework. I should do my revision for tomorrow's paper. Okay, right. So that is what is being called as main verb after the auxiliary verb of do. Now let us take a look at the main verb after the modal verbs. Okay, so what is it here? Take a look here. You can play the tambourine. Okay, you can play the tambourine. I could play the tambourine. May I play the tambourine? Okay, so that is how we are going to use the verb after the auxiliary verb do or modal verbs. Okay, so this is verb infinitive. Don't worry, don't get confused. Let us take a look at another explanation on verb infinitive. Here, it also being used after common verbs, which is common verbs of perception with a direct object, such as you watch, you hear, you feel. Okay, so that is what is called by common verbs of perception with a direct object, right? So example, I felt it move. Okay, let us take example of pregnant mother. Okay, when the mother just sit watching TV, suddenly the mother can feel the baby is moving. Can feel the baby is moving. So the mother want to tell her husband that I felt it move. I felt the baby moving. Okay, so that is what common verbs of perception with a direct object. Number 3, it is used also after the common verbs of permission or causation, such as make, have, and let. So, what is common verbs of permission or causation? Example, I let the dog finish my food. Okay, see the word of let. I let the dog finish my food. Okay, so that is the permission, which is he gave the permission to the dog to finish his food. So next, it sometimes follow the question word why. Okay, so verb infinitive also can be used, which is followed by the question of why, right? Which is it sometimes follow the question such as why seeing that. Okay, see that this is the basic form verb of sing, right? Why sing that? Okay, so are you clear now with the verb infinitive? Okay, I hope you have the clear picture. Okay, so if I'm too fast and you need to make a note, so you may to tap on your screen, right? Tap on your screen, and then you may screenshots on each note. Alright, you may also jot down the notes so easy for you to make a revision on it. So next, we are looking on to infinitive. What is to infinitive? So, to infinitive is to express purpose or answer the question why. Right? So the purpose to answer, right? Either you want to express or you want to answer the question of why. So, example, the first one. Tom went to his friend's house to play computer games. So this one, he expressed the purpose of why Tom went to his friend's house. Okay, Tom went to his friend's house to play computer games. Second, Caroline bought some ingredients to bake a cake. Right? So that is the first example of to infinitive. Don't worry. Let us see the next slide. Which is here. It is used after certain verbs, particularly verbs of thinking, feeling, and saying. Okay, so these two infinitive you can use also after on the certain verbs such as thinking, feeling, and saying. Alright, so example of the sentences is I decided to forget what Linda said. Okay, I decided to forget what Linda said. So this is the to infinitive, which is to with the verbs forget, right? Second, Beth loves to dance. So the verb is loves. And so after the verb, it use to dance. And the last one, they agreed to go to the cinema together. They agreed to go to the cinema together. Alright, which is to go. To go, not to the cinema, but to go. So what is the verb before to go? It is agree. Right? So they agreed to go to the cinema together. Next, what else is the use of this to infinitive? Okay, it is used after certain adjective. Either you want to give the reason or you want to give your opinions. Okay, which is here. I am so pleased to hear about Lucy's new job. So, what is the adjective in this sentence, class? Yes, the adjective in this sentence is please. So now you are going to change to make the sentences as a give reason or give opinions. Alright? So here it is after you have changed. I am pleased because I have heard about Lucy's new job. Okay? So she gave the reason, which is because. I am pleased because I have heard about Lucy's new job. Don't worry, we have second example. Don't get confused, alright? Second, our teacher speaks English so quickly. It is impossible to understand her. So, our teacher speaks English so quickly. It is impossible to understand her. How you are going to change to the make as the opinion, right? So the sentences will be slightly different, but it's still same meaning, which is, in my opinion, it is impossible understanding the teacher. Okay, in my opinion, it is impossible understanding the teacher. Okay, and we are done for the bare infinitive and to infinitive, which is the types of infinitive. Alright, so we are done for the to infinitive. Now let us proceed with gerunds. Second grammar of the day. What is gerund? Have you ever heard the word of gerund? Okay, if I'm asking you, have you ever been used gerund in your writing or speaking? Yes, you do, but you doesn't recognize that actually that is gerund. So now I'm asking, have you ever heard the word of gerund? Okay, so please comment down below. So, what is gerund? I think I have heard before this, teacher Akila, but I could not remember what is gerund, teacher. Okay, so if you cannot remember or you forgot that you have learned this before, let's see what is gerund and let us take a look on the example of gerund as well as how does this gerund being used. Okay, so first, what is gerund? It is a phrase of consisting of a gerund and any modifiers or object associated with it, which is the gerund is a phrase that consists of a gerund or any kind of either modifiers or objects that connected with it. Okay, so basically gerund is a noun which is made from a verb root such as swim. So how are you going to change it to the noun? By adding ing, which is it will become swimming. So that is the noun. I like swimming. I love swimming. Okay? So that is what we call from a verb root. And not only swim, any kind of verb such as walk, run, talk, speak, laugh. Okay? So that is the example of the verb root. So next, what else? What is gerund other than these two? So it is also known as a whole gerund phrase, which is the functions of this whole gerund in a sentences such as a noun, and it also can act as a subject, object, or a predicate nominative. Okay? Remember, the whole gerund, which is the phrase, the whole gerund phrase, the function in a sentence such as noun can act as a subject, object, or predicate nominative. What is this three? Which is this is in the sentences. Okay? So in the sentences, this gerund phrase, it can be either it can be the subject or it can be the object after the verb, or it also can be a predicate nominative. Right? Okay, you may take a screenshot on these slides first. Okay, I count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, next. Example of gerund. How are you going to use this gerund in the sentences? How does the gerund will be look in the sentences? So let me show you. Right? Traveling is a good way to expand your worldview. Okay, so see, the word of traveling, which is travel, is the verb root. When you are going to make it as a gerund, you have to add in the ing. So the traveling become the subject of the sentences. Okay, so second, my passion is reading. Okay, my passion is reading. See, the gerund become the object. Right? So her passion is reading. So after the word of is, you need to put ing for the verb. Okay? Number 3. My doctor suggests running to improve my health. My doctor suggests running to improve my health. So, this is the word of running, which is the predicate of nominative. What is predicate? Okay, predicate of nominative. I'm sorry. So this is what a predicate of nominative. The gerund is at the center of the sentences, right? In the middle of the sentences. Okay. My doctor suggests running to improve my health. So class, can you see how is this gerund can be used either as a subject, object, or predicate nominative. Okay, so now let us take a look how does this gerund works. Here, it can be either alone or band together with other words to form a gerund. Example, running is a favorite activity of mine. Running is a favorite activity of mine. So this we can see that it is alone. Okay, it appears as alone. Now you are going to appear the word of this running with other words to form a gerund, which is running with scissors is a favorite activity of mine. You see how psycho is that person? How psychopath is that person? Running with scissors is a favorite activity of mine. And you see, actually running with the scissors, we can see that this is idiom as well. Okay, it can be as idioms, but this one I want to show to you how the other words can help to form a gerund. Okay, so here it is, running with scissors. So that is the other words to form a gerund. Alright, so we have done for the explanation section, which is on the types of infinitive, which is you have bare infinitive and to infinitive, and you also have heard the explanation on gerund. Alright class, as you know, now it's time for activity. Okay, I hope that all my students are ready for this activity. Okay, so don't forget to look as well on your notes, right? So can us start the activity? Are you ready? I can hear you. Are you ready for the activity, class? Yes, you are ready. So now let us begin with the activity. Complete with the correct form of the verbs in brackets. Remember, these questions are including the types of infinitive, which is a bare infinitive and to infinitive, and it also have the questions on gerunds. Okay, so first question, Roger was very happy, blank space, in the bracket C, his friends after the holidays. Roger was very happy, his friends after the holidays. So, what is the answer, class? This is to infinitive. So the answer, yes, Roger was very happy to see his friends after the holidays. That's correct. So number 2, my brother's angry at me. I promise, space in bracket, help him with a project, but in the end I couldn't make it and I forgot, blank space in the bracket, call home, blank space in the bracket, say I had be late. So in second questions, you need to put 3 answers. Alright? So let us take a look for the first one, which is my brother's angry at me. I promise to help him with a project, but in the end I couldn't make it and I forgot to call home to say I had been late. I would be late. Okay? So the answer again, I repeat. My brother is angry at me. I promised to help him with a project, but in the end, I couldn't make it and I forgot to call home to say I would be late. Right, students, can you see? If the sentences is using infinitive, so it must be infinitive only. Alright? If the questions, the answer is gerund, so make sure in that sentences of gerund, there is no types of infinitive being used. Okay? So number 3, I don't mind space in the bracket stay alone at home during the day, but I can't stand space be in the bracket alone in the house at night. So this is, what do you think does these sentences will be? Is it bare infinitive or to infinitive or gerund? Let us take a look at the answer. So I don't mind staying alone at home during the day, but I can't stand being alone in the house at night. So this is gerund. Yes, clever. Why gerund? Because after the root word of the verb, you are adding ing, as well as for the be, which is you adding ing. That's good. I can see that you are clear enough with my explanation earlier. Okay, let us proceed with number 4. What would you like me, space in bracket, do after I have finished, space in the bracket, feed the animals? So, what do you think the answer will be? Is it in the bare infinitive, or to infinitive, or gerund? Alright, I can hear that some of you see that this answer will be to infinitive. Let us take a look. What would you like me to do after I have finished feeding the animals? So this sentences is to infinitive. Alright, it used to infinitive. What would you like me to do after I have finished feeding the animals? So number 5, there is no point in space in the bracket run for the bus. It has already left. Right? So in the bracket run, there's no point in for the bus. It has already left. So the answer is, there is no point in running for the bus. It has already left. Number 6, Faye thinks she must, space in the bracket, lose some weight, so she's considering, space in bracket, go on a diet. So the answer, Faye thinks she must to lose some weight, so she's considering going on a diet. Faye thinks she must lose some weight, so she is considering going on a diet. So for those who answered to lose just now, it is wrong. The answer is lose. Why? Because this is bare infinitive. Okay? Bare infinitive. Faye thinks she must lose. Why is it? It is bare infinitive. Because the word of must. Must is auxiliary modal verb. Alright? Modal auxiliary verbs. Which is the modal verb just now I have mentioned earlier, which is should, shall, will, would, can, could, may, might, and must. Yeah. So that is the answer. Alright, now let us take a look at the last questions. Okay. The authorities made all the people, space in a bracket, leave the scene of accident. Right. So what is the answer? Yes, the authority made all the people leave the scene of accident. right? And yes, you have done all the exercise. Congratulations, students. I can see that you are understand with what I have explained earlier. Okay, so before we end this section, right, because we are already come to the end, so let us recap a bit, which is there are two types of infinitive. It is bare infinitive and to infinitive. So what is the other one grammar that have you learned today? Correct, it is gerund. Okay, what is bare infinitive? Bare infinitive is the word that without participle of to. As example here, we can say that the word of lost, right? Leave. So that is the bare infinitive. Next, what is infinitive? What is to infinitive? Sorry, to infinitive is the word that we use the word to, and after the word of to, you are using the root word of the verb. As example in this question is to see, to help, to call, to swim, to talk, to run. No, to run. Okay, it is running. There is no such thing to run. So the last one, what is it? Yes, gerund. So how you are going to use the word of gerund? You must adding the word of ing. Example, as I have tell you just now, I have told you earlier. Give me one example if you remember. Yes, I love swimming. Running is my favorite activity. Okay, so the gerund also you can make as a phrases. Okay, or you can also make it as to make the gerund to form with other words, such as running with scissors is my favorite all time. Right? So that's all for today's sessions. That's all for today's learning. I hope that all my students have learning something new. Remember class, don't ever forget, don't ever to be shy in the class, alright? If you have made a mistakes, don't worry because learn is a process. We are learning from mistakes. If we doesn't do any mistakes, what are we going to learn? Okay? So always remember this, what teacher Akila said, learning is a process. Learning from mistake. If you doesn't make a mistake, how you're going to learn something new? Okay? So that's all for today's video, for today's classes. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Bye!